The second day, we are double clicking the Kyle IDE. So where we left, it will stop there. So instead of blink.a, I am interested in doing add.a. So what I can do, I want to remove this blink.a. To remove this blink.a, I can take the cursor to this blink.a and I right click it, and then I can click remove blink.a. Are you sure remove the blink.a? Yes, blink.a has removed. As told, no, the file what is available here doesn't mean that the file is added to the project. So the file has to be here. Our interest is to bring back the add.a file. So for that, take our cursor to the source group 1 and add existing files to source group 1. Already we have add.a file. So go to this, add existing file to. So automatically it will go to mpmc folder what we have created in the D drive. Already there is a add.a file. So click this add.a file and click add. So it will come to the project folder. Now we can close this window. Now add.a file is added to the project. So when you double click this add.a will come. For convenience, it is better to close this blink.a by right clicking this and close to avoid the confusion. So now add.a is in the project, add.a is visible in the right hand side. So with respect to add.a, we have stopped here, right? With respect to add.a, we have stopped here. And now we want to do some other operations. So what you need to understand is only one project is more than enough for the whole semester as discussed. So already we have created the project name Dream. Under the Dream project, we can create as many assembly files as we like, and then whichever assembly file you want to execute, that assembly file can be added to the project, and the file which is not necessary, which can be removed from the project. Only one project is the moral of this discussion. Anything goes wrong, redo it again with the same name project. There must be only one project. Whichever file you want, you can add. Whichever file you want, you can remove. Add more than 100 files, 200 files, 300 files, 5000 files. But under the name of only one project until you become familiar or comfortable with this environment. Okay. So now the procedure is more or less comfortable. So we are doing some other interesting thing. Let it be now 02 and 04. Now let us say FE. What is FE? In decimal it is 254, right? In decimal it is 254 is FE. Let us say 1. Add 254 plus 1. The sum will be 255, as we all know. Add 254 plus 1 and the sum will be 255. Let us check whether this is happening or not. So as usual, compiling, building the code, checking for zero error in the bottom. Yes, it is zero error. Then going to debug window, start stop debug session and click OK. Now program counter it is not necessary to always look at the disassembly window. If necessary, we can have the disassembly window. Else, we can go to view. We can remove this disassembly window. Now only assembly file will be there. So move a comma fe. Move a comma fe. So now the accumulator is here. I'm doing the single step. So the accumulator fe has come, and I'm adding 1 with the accumulator, and we will get. We are expecting ff. Let me execute the 4th line. We are expecting ff in accumulator. Yes, there is an ff in accumulator. Fantastic. So that accumulator content has to come to port 0, port 1 and port 2. And then we are stopping the code. So to check this, there is a possibility for us to view the peripherals. So we can see the peripheral port 2, say for example. Port 2 is ff. The content of accumulator is ff. So clear. Now we are going to do some interesting thing. Because 8051 is an 8-bit microcontroller, the ALU is an 8-bit ALU as we discussed, and the registers are 8-bit registers. With 8-bit register, the maximum value which we can store is 11111111. What is 11111111? 11111111 is 255. If we add 1 to 255, let us see what happens. ff is the maximum number, which is 255, and we add 1, which is 256. So 256 cannot be accommodated in 256 cannot be accommodated in 8-bit. Let us see what happens. We have edited the code, so we have to compile and build. So we are going out from the debugger window. We are compiling and we are building and checking for 0 errors, which is very important. If it is yes, it is 0 error. Going back to the debug window, stop debug session and clicking OK. Now the program is ready to execute. I'm doing the single step execution. Accumulator has become FF. Already the accumulator is full. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Adding 1 means what? All of you know very well, right? All of you know very well. Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1. Do binary addition. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 means plus 1 means what? So this is FF, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is FF. And we are adding again 1. So in hexadecimal, if you see FF plus 1 will become 1 plus 1 is 10. Again the carry will become 1. So again 1 plus 1 is 10, 0. Again 1, 1 plus 1 is 10, 0. Again 1. Like this it goes on and there will be a carry. Now I'm going to execute the fourth line. Please try to understand. Already accumulator content has FF. You see, already accumulator has FF. Adding 1, definitely there will be an overflow or there will be an overflow. Let us see. I'm just after executing this, adding 1 with accumulator has become 0, 0. Sending out the sum value to port 0. Let us say sending out the sum value to port 0 means port 0, port 1 and port 2. Let us see, port 0 will get 0, 0. Now you can understand the significance of this particular arithmetic operation with an example. Now let us say we have a bank balance of 255 rupees. We are depositing or we are crediting 1 more rupee to the bank, and the bank display says you have a 0 balance. Do we agree? Already you have 255 rupees in the bank, and if you are depositing 1 more rupee, and here bank balance shows 0, 0. No? Here you can see port 2 contains only 0, 0. So this is the bank balance. How do we agree this? So microprocessor manufacturers could have done something, no? If there is the register length is 8-bit, while doing any arithmetic operation, there is a possibility for us to exceed the maximum capacity of this. If it exceeds, then what has to be done? That is the need of the day. With respect to our conventional binary, we talk about there is a carry. Here also, there is something like a carry. Those are called as flags. So the maximum number which can be holded in 8-bit register is only 255. If the arithmetic operation, while adding or subtracting, while multiplying or by dividing or doing some arithmetic operation, there is a possibility for us to overflow. If it happens, somewhere and somehow it has to be notified to notify that there are flags available in the microprocessors. So it is mandatory for the programmer to look at the flags also. Why? Because flags reflects the status of accumulator. And again, I'm restarting the simulation. Now we can see now the processor status word will have a carry flag as 0. So now we are going to execute the program. Accumulator is loaded with immediate constant FF. That is your first line. Yes, accumulator has become FF. While executing the second line, here also carry flag is 0. By executing this fourth line, add a comma hash 0x01. 255 plus 1, 256 will happen. So accumulator cannot withstand 256. It will overflow. Even though accumulator becomes 0, the carry flag will set and notify that while performing this arithmetic operation, the carry has occurred. Kindly make note of it, something like that. It is notifying. So please observe carefully. I am executing this fourth line, and please check carry flag will set. Once again, I'm just, please look at it. I'm executing the fourth line. Executed. The modified bits and bytes are highlighted as a blue color. So while executing the fourth line, add a comma hash 0x01. Accumulator has become 0, 0. You can see accumulator has become 0, 0. And the processor status word carry flag was set and auxiliary carry flag was set. Both the flag was set. Now you can observe closely. The close view you can see. Because of executing the fourth line add a comma 0 1, accumulator has become 0 0. And if we come down and see carry flag was set, this flag notifies there exists a carry, which is very interesting. So just like that, we should not send out the data to the port. You have to consider the carry flag also, and then you have to modify the code. Let me do the modification of the code, and then we'll do the correct code, which will be very interesting. With this understanding, you can do much better coding from today onwards. So you can see I am using the conditional statement. I hope you could have seen the data sheet. In the data sheet, there is a Boolean instruction as well as there is a conditional instructions. Jump no carry. There is an instruction called jump no carry. I am giving it as loop 1. If there is no carry, jump to loop 1. If there is a carry means I am incrementing some register called R2. If there is a carry, I am incrementing some register called R2. If there is no carry, I don't want to increment the register R2. Hence, I am jumping to the 7th line. So if there is no carry, the program execution has to jump from 5th line to 7th line. If there is a carry, program execution has to come in sequence. That means 5th line, 6th line, and 7th line. So here I am moving this to 20th memory location, accumulator content to 20th memory location, and I am moving this R2 to 21st memory location. I'm moving this accumulator content to 20th memory location. Before sending out, we can correct it internally and then we can send out to the port. Okay. Now let me do it as this short jump. Let me make it as loop 2. Okay, it can be here, but let it be loop 2. So this is the modified code which we are interested in right now. This is the modified code which we are interested in right now. So 20th memory location will contain 0 0 and 21st memory location will have R2 content. If there is a carry, then R2 will get incremented. So 21st memory location will have 1. So 1 0 0. So let us do it with the calculator for your understanding. Here I am doing FF plus 1. Here I am doing FF plus 1. And then the answer is 1 0 0. So this 0 0 is a 1 byte which has to be in one location, and this 0 1 has to be in next location. So least significant byte is in 20th memory location, and most significant byte, which is 0 1, has to be in 21st memory location. While executing, you will be much more familiar. So now I am compiling, I am building the code. After compiling and building, check for 0 error. Yes, 0 error now. And going to debug start stop. Now program execution will be pointing the first location, which is move a comma. So there is a possibility for us to view the memory. So if you go to the view, menu, the debugger, while debugging, there is a possibility for us to see the memory window. In this memory window, you can click memory window, memory 1. So in the bottom right corner, the memory window will open. Okay. So now the memory window is not there. So we can redo it once again. So go to view menu. In that view menu, there is a memory window. In that memory window, there is memory 1, memory 2, memory 3. You can have 4 memory windows, out of which we are selecting memory 1. In the bottom right corner, memory 1 has come. Okay. If we put D colon, it will be a data memory. If you put C colon, it will show the code memory. So our interest is to see 20th memory location. Hence, we can give the address as 20, or we can give our address as we wish. Now our interest is to see the memory location 20 and 21. Hence, I have given it as 20 because it is data memory, which is read-write memory. Hence, I have given it as D colon. After giving 20, if we give enter, so the 20th memory location, 21st memory location, like that will come. So we can adjust the resize this, and we can use it as per our convenience. Similarly, we can see the code memory also. We can go to view and memory window. I can click memory 2. So another window will open here. So memory 1 is data memory window. Memory 2 may be code memory window. Code memory means C colon. C colon 0x00 means you can see This is code memory where 74FF2401 is the opcode, right? So there is a possibility for us to view the code memory, which is program memory. There is a possibility for us to view the data memory, and it is up to our convenience in which location we are interested. We can also see this. So it is available in the bottom right corner of your Keil EDU. That is the convenience and comfortness of Keil integrated development environment. Now we'll start executing the code as usual. Move a comma hash ff. So accumulator a will become ff. So doing single step execution. Accumulator will become ff. And adding a with 0, 1, definitely there will be a carry flag. So we are interested to see the carry flag. Now you see the carry flag was not set. Carry flag is 0. After executing this add a comma hash 0, 1, there will be a carry. So carry flag will set and notify there exists a carry. Please observe carefully. So single step execution. You can see accumulator has become 0, 0. That is ff plus 1 is 0, 0. And the carry flag sets and notifies that there is a carry happened during this arithmetic operation. Now it's very important decision making. Now the program is going to make a decision. Okay. What is the decision? If there is no carry, it has to skip this line, 5th line. That means it should not increment R2. If there is no carry, it has to jump to loop 1 label, and it has to move the content of accumulator 20H, and it has to move the content of R2 to 21, and then it has to terminate the program. Jump if there is no carry. JNC means jump no carry to loop 1. Now the carry is available or not? Yes, there is a carry. So this condition is wrong. This condition fails. If there is no carry, it has to jump. But now there is a carry, so it should not jump. It has to go and execute the 5th line. So that is very interesting to observe how I am going to do the single step execution. We are expecting the program execution should go to 5th line. It should not jump to the 6th line, which is very important, right? Because if there is no carry, then only it has to jump to loop 1. By performing this arithmetic operation, there is a carry, hence it will not jump. The condition fails, so it has to go to the 5th line. That is what our expectation. Let us see whether the program execution goes to the 5th line. How do you understand program execution go to the 5th line? This yellow color arrow mark is the pointer, which has to go to the 5th line. So please see single step. Yes, program counter has gone to 5th line. So our conditional statement is working fine. That we have understood now. Now this instruction is very simple arithmetic instruction. Increment R2. Here we can see there is a register R2. By doing the single step execution, R2 will become 1. Okay. So this is the most significant byte. Now we are making the carry flag bit as byte by incrementing R2. So this is most significant bit. Because R2 is 1, we are going to understand this as this is 256, something like that. So now what is the 6th line? Move 20H comma A. What is move 20H comma A? Move the accumulator content to 20. Accumulator content is 0, 0. That will move to the memory location 20 after executing this line. Move the content of R2 to 21. So what is the content of R2? Content of R2 is 1. That 1 has to move to the data memory location 21. And then we have stopped the program because our jump loop 2. So 20 has 0, 0. 21 should have 0, 1. Come to the bottom right corner to the data memory window. So 20th memory location has 0, 0. 21st memory location has 0, 1. So this is least significant byte. This is most significant byte. So presence of this 1 help us to understand this is the correct arithmetic operation. Because this one is 256. Got it, na? It's very interesting. So like this, again, we can do one more program like this. Let us go to the calculator. Let us go to the calculator for convenience. Let us go to the calculator for convenience. It's very interesting to work with. Let us go to the calculator for convenience. The worst case, the maximum addition. FF is the maximum number. And again, add FF with another FF. FF is the maximum number. I can add FF with FF. This is the maximum possible addition, 8-bit addition. So FF plus FF is 1FE. FF plus FF is 1FE. That is 255 plus 255 is 510. Yes or no? FF is 255 and another FF is 255. So FF plus FF is 1FE in hexadecimal, and in decimal it is 510. So we have to justify this is 510 by using our programming. Let us go to our program, and then we are going to modify this. So FF plus, instead of 1, we are giving again FF. So 255 plus 255. Adding 255 with another 255. So this is going to become 510. Let us see how best it works. So because we have edited the code, we have to come out from the debugger window, and then we have to compile build. So when you build it, it has to give 0 error. Yes, now it is 0 error. As usual, go to debug start. Okay. It's very interesting. Now again, move a comma ff. Yes, move a comma ff. Add a comma ff. When we add a comma is 1 fe. So a will have fe, and the carry flag should also set. Now the carry flag is 0. Carry flag is 0. So you can see now single step. After executing add a comma hash ff, accumulator will come fe, and the carry flag will set, which justifies 1 fe, which is 510. Fantastic, right? Single step. Now accumulator has become fe, and carry flag was also set, which justifies 1 fe is the answer. So again, conditional statement, jump no carry. If there is no carry, jump to loop 1. But there is a carry, so it will never jump to loop 1, it will come down and increment the next line, which is increment R2. Yes, it has come down because the condition fails. Now by executing this 5th line, so increment R2. So R2 has become 1. R2 has become 1, and move the content of accumulator to 20th memory location. So now you see in the bottom right corner, 20th memory location. Bottom 20th memory location is 0, 21st memory location is also 0. Now the program execution is in the 6th line. By executing the 6th line, accumulator content will move to the 20th memory location. Accumulator content is FE. So FE will move to the 20th memory location. You can see single step execution. After executing the 6th line, FE will go to 20th memory location. You can see FE is in 20th memory location. Again, I'm executing the 7th line. Move R2, 21. What is R2? R2 is already 1. So R2 is 21. So single step execution. So R2 content is moved to 21st memory location. So 21st data memory location contains 1. So the most significant byte is 1, and the least significant byte is FE. So 1 FE is the content, which is 510, as we see in this. Now like this, 1 FE is our hexadecimal addition when we add FF plus FF. This is very, very important. So it is up to the programmer's responsibility to consider the flags also. That is very, very important. Like this, we have the program. So the carry flag and the conditional statements are helping us in like this. Now we want to check the conditional statement whether it is jumping. So we are going to give the data in such a way that the carry will not occur. That will help us to understand much more better. So let us say it's very easy thing. 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Definitely carry will not happen. So 2 plus or 3 plus 4 equal to 7. Something like this. So as usual, now we have edited the code. So because we edited the code, compile build. So when we do the compile and building, for the new edited code, it will create an executable file. Then we are going to the start stop debug session. It's very interesting. Now you can see accumulator will become 3. You can see we do the single step execution. Accumulator executing the second line, move a comma hash 3 means move the immediate constant 3 to the accumulator. So accumulator will get 3. Observe, look at the screen, look at the cursor. So accumulator has become 3. Now adding a accumulator with 4. You can see the carry flag. Carry flag is cleared. Default carry flag is cleared. Now we are adding the content of accumulator with the immediate constant 4. Content of accumulator is 3. And the immediate constant is 4. So 4 plus 3 is 7. And the sum is available only in the accumulator. So doing the single step execution, we are expecting 7 in the accumulator. Yes, I am doing the single step execution. So accumulator has 7. So there is no carry. 3 plus 4 is 7. There is no overflow. Please come down and see. Carry flag was not set. Fantastic, right? Carry flag was not set. Now you see, it's very interesting. If there is no carry, jump to loop 1. Is there any carry? Yes, there is no carry. Is there any carry? No carry. So the program execution will jump to the 6th line. At 6th line, it will jump to the loop 1. Loop 1 is available in 6th line. So it will skip the 5th line. It will never increment R2. That you have to observe carefully. So I'm doing the single step execution. From the 4th line, it will jump to the label loop 1, which is the 6th line, which you have to observe carefully. Fantastic, right? See, the program execution jumps to the 6th line. Now the accumulator content is moved to the 20th memory location, which is 7, and R2, it is 0. So that has moved to the 21st memory location. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So 7 is available in 20th memory location and 21st memory location, which is very interesting. So now if you observe this carefully in the bottom right corner, the 7 is available in the 20th memory location. So if the carry comes, R2 will increment and it will send the most significant byte value to the next memory location. So least significant byte first and the most significant byte next. Like this, the data are stored in the 8-bit data memory location of this 8051 microcontroller. Now you have understood the significance of the carry flag in this class. Now how carry flag sets and how to use carry flag to do the arithmetic operations correctly, that we have understood clearly. In the next class, we can look at the significance of auxiliary carry flag, overflow flag, and parity flag in detail. Thank you. It's very interesting. Now you can post your questions in the chat box. So now coming to Rajkumar sir, what is the advantage of assembly programming over high-level language programming? So coming to the Rajkumar's question, when we write assembly language programming, as we did today, we are able to see up to the bit level with respect to the processor. In an individual byte in the data memory, what is happening? In an individual byte in the register, what is happening? In the register, how a data moves. Up to that level, we can able to see if we go for arithmetic, if we go for any assembly language programming and machine language programming by looking at the corresponding register window and the corresponding disassembly window. So that is the beauty of doing assembly language programming and machine language programming. In the laptop service center and all, they used to have written chip level servicing done here. Who can do chip level servicing? Those who know the in-depth about the architecture, in-depth about the instruction set, in-depth about the registers, in-depth about the flags, they only can do chip level servicing of the laptops. When we do high level languages, we will sit in the top. Something like we will be, in exactly speaking, when we write a high level language, we will become a driver of the car. When we turn right, the steering, car will turn right. When we turn left, car will turn left. If we do assembly level programming, then we can say we are a mechanic, car mechanic. You can drive the car. If anything goes wrong in the car, anytime you can stop the car, you can do the repairing just like that. If the puncture means you know where the jockey is, how to keep the jockey and how to lift the wheel and how to remove the wheel, how to replace the wheel, where is the stepney wheel, everything you know if you do the, if you are a mechanic. Similarly, if you know the assembly language programming, chip level servicing can be done, anything can be done. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But here it's very interesting thing. But as we see, there are several thousands and thousands and thousands of microcontrollers available. Every microcontroller have their own assembly language programming. It is very difficult for any human being in the world. It is very difficult for any human being in the world to understand assembly language programming for every microprocessors and microcontrollers. It is impossible. That is why we are sitting in the application layer and making use of the application layer more comfortably. The entire burden is given to the tools. So there are several software tools available that will convert our high-level language into assembly language and machine language, as we see here. So now we have written an assembly language program. Now I will show you. Now look at the screen. It's very interesting. I can view the disassembly window. You can see I can view the disassembly window here. When I view the disassembly window, this is the assembly language program what we have written. Here you can see automatically, see now it is So now program execution in start jump. Program execution is pointing the 8th line. So start jump L2. So start jump L2 is the assembly language program what we have written. So this is high level language up to some extent. This assembly language programs is converted to the machine language program. This is machine language program AT and FE. So AT is an opcode for short jump. Loop 2. For this loop 2, FE is a byte. So AT and FE is a machine language. So this assembly language, which is a high level language, is converted to this machine language like AT and FE because of the presence of cross assembler. Because of the presence of loader tool, this AT is kept in 0B and this FE is kept in 0C. And the next location is 0D. Like this it goes on. So there are a lot of tools available. In our case, we have written the code only in assembly language. This assembly language code has become machine language, and the machine language is sitting inside in your program memory 000B. That is C colon means program memory as we all know right now. So 000B is having 80 and 000C is having FE. We can check it in the bottom right corner, right? So there is a code memory now. We have seen code memory 000B is 80, right? I'll show you anything we can do. That's the beauty of Keil IDE. Now I have reduced the window size, right? 000B. I am just checking. Okay. 00B contains 80, 00C contains FE. So 80 and FE. The code memory 00B contains 80 and 0C contains FE. That is what you are able to see here. B contains 80 and C contains FE. B contains 80 and C contains FE, which is code memory C colon. Fantastic, right? So up to that level, we are able to monitor and we can able to troubleshoot. So like this, we can write a C program. C program will become assembly through cross compiler, and assembly has become will become machine language by using cross assembler with the help of linker or locator or loader. It will be going to the corresponding memory location. Several software tools are available, and all the tools are called as tool chain. All the tool chain is available in a single package called integrated development environment. So Keil will take care of everything. So we don't want to worry about it. Just like that, we can write the code. Okay. So at least learning one microcontroller's assembly language programming, we can understand the architecture of a microprocessor and microcontroller more thoroughly. For that purpose alone, we are looking at the assembly language programming and machine language programming. We never do this for any other microcontroller hereafter. Because as we all know, we are living in a mobile app world. So creating a mobile app is the prime requirement nowadays. So because creating mobile app is hardware independent, software independent. You can see it can work in any mobile phone, right? It is independent of any processor inside the mobile, independent of screen, independent of the touch screen or whatever it is, right? It can work in 5,000 rupees mobile phone also. If you develop an app, the app will work in 5,000 rupees mobile phone. The same app will work in 50,000 rupees mobile phone. So independent of the screen size, independent of the resolution, the app will work. That is the level of application development today, because there are a lot of tools available. But this is something like bottom-up approach, chip level. There is something like top-down approach, which is app development today. So the journey starts from here and the destination is app development. End of the day, microprocessor is working. So we are going to see how this king is doing a lot of wonders. That's what in depth. We are going much close to the king, which is your microprocessor, which is capable of doing several billion jobs per second. That is the beauty of learning assembly language programming, but it is not possible for all microcontrollers. That is why we can understand assembly language programming for only one small, that to 8-bit microcontroller. And similarly, it is happening for 16-bit, 32-bit and 64-bit microcontroller. It is impossible for us to study any assembly language programming for 16-bit and 32-bit microcontroller. That is why a simple 8-bit controller is taken as an example, which is kept in the syllabus for us to celebrate much better in a more easier way. Beautiful, right? So that is what the answer for this question. So question may be very simple, but just through this question, we have answered a lot. So again, today's man of the match is Rajkumar. Rajkumar's, because of Rajkumar's question, most of us got a very good opportunity to understand so many things. Thank you, Rajkumar, for asking this question. This justifies every question is more valuable than every lecture. Coming to the Srihari's question, how to do conditional like if in assembly? So if statement can be done in assembly language by using conditional statements, something like compare and jump not equal. There is an instruction called CJNE, compare and jump not equal. So with the help of this compare and jump not equal, we can do similar to if statement right now. So when we do compare and jump not equal, while experimenting, we can understand it clearly. We will have it in the class. If not, I request all of you to do compare and jump, check for compare and jump not equal instruction, which works similar to if statement in the C programming. That's the answer for Sri's question. And nowadays, sir, if the code is MOV P0, FF, add P0, #1, here short jump here, then there is an error missing end statement. Okay. So to answer Navneethan's question, we'll copy this code and let me paste it in the Keil IDE, and then we can satisfy Navneethan's requirement. So we'll comment this. Delete பண்ணிடக்கூடாது, எப்பவுமே delete பண்ணிடக்கூடாது. நம்ம advanced போய் right click பண்ண select பண்ணி, we have to select it and then we have to right click it, go to advanced. The comment selection இருக்குது, comment பண்ணிக்கணும். delete பண்ணிட்டா மறுபடியும் நமக்கு இருக்கவே இருக்காது. comment பண்ணிட்டு நம்ம புது கோட் ராஜ், இதுதான் நம்ம இதுல எரர் வருதுன்னு சொல்றாரு. நம்ம நவநீதன் பார்க்கலாம் என்ன எரர் வருதுன்னு. ஒரே லெட்டர்னா ஒரே லெட்டர் வச்சுக்கலாம். Let me check. So compile build. Target not missing end statement. And okay, good. Move P0, FF. Error register operand expected. Okay. Add P0. அப்படிங்கிறது எரர். ஏன்னா add P0 கூட ஆட் பண்ண முடியாதுங்க. ஏன்னா one of the data must be in accumulator. The accumulator content can only be added with the immediate data or direct addressing data or indirect addressing data. So P0 content to immediate port 0 content add பண்ண முடியாதுங்கிறது தான் missing end statement. அதாவது error missing end statement கிடையாது, warning தான் missing end statement. In the bottom right corner if you see, warning the missing end statement. நல்லா பாருங்க, warning the missing end statement. அதுக்கு மேல பாருங்க, error register operand expected. இங்க A4 இப்படி பார்க்கணும், Aல 4th லைன், அப்போ 4th லைன்ல எரர் இருக்குது, இப்படிதான் பார்த்துக்கணும். அப்போ add P0, #01ங்கிறது தப்பு. This is the wrong code because accumulator இருக்கணும் இங்க அப்படிங்கிறதா ரைட் ஆன்சர். Now I am changing it as an accumulator. இப்போ ஏன் மாத்தியாச்சு. Again I am compiling and building. Now we can see 0 error. Move P0, FF. Port 0 பார்க்கணும். இப்போ according to your code, port 0 க்கு FF already FF இருக்குது. 0 FF இருக்குது, பார்க்கலாம். port 0 again FF. add A, 01. இப்போ கரெக்டாக இருக்குது. add A, 01. accumulator கூட 1 வந்துருச்சு. then start jump here. இப்போ எல்லாமே கரெக்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு பாருங்க. everything is clear, right? So என்ன அப்போ the conclusion here is add P0, 01 ன்னு நம்ம பண்ணக்கூடாது. அப்போ one of the register must be accumulator. One of the register must be accumulatorங்கிறது நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். So again I am making it as add P0, 1 னா it will show some error at register operand expected. To overcome this error, it has to be A. So when you give A, when you compile and build, you will get 0 error. Great day for all of us. I believe you are celebrating with Keil IDE. நீங்க எவ்வளவு கேள்வி கேட்குறீங்களோ அவ்வளவு தூரம் நம்ம ஆன்சர் பண்ண முடியும், நீங்க செலிப்ரேட் பண்ண முடியும். இதுதான் நமக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டு ஒர்க் வித் பிட் லெவல் அண்ட் பைட் லெவல். இதுதான் லாஸ்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டு ஒர்க் வித் பிட் லெவல் அண்ட் பைட் லெவல். எப்படி எங்க ப்ரொஃபசர் சொன்னார்னா, ஐ டேக் திஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி டு சே திஸ். when I ask my senior professor, sir, every day microcontrollers are keep on emerging, sir. Then I know only 1 or 2 microcontrollers, sir. But every day 10-20 microcontrollers are emerging in the market, sir. How to study all microcontrollers? How to teach the students? அப்படின்னு நம்ம கேட்டப்ப the answer from my senior professor is, so do you know how to drive the car? அப்படின்னு கேட்டது. நம்ம கார் தெரியும், கார் ஓட்ட தெரியும் அப்படின்னா, கார் எந்த கார் ஓட்ட தெரியும் அப்படின்னா, சார் நாங்கள் ஆல்டோ ஓடுவோம், ஆல்டோ ஓட்டியிருக்கிறோம் அப்படி சொல்லியிருக்கிறோம். அப்போது எந்த கார் ஓட்டி நீங்கள் லைசன்ஸ் எடுத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, சரி ஓகே ஆல்டோ 800 மாருதி 800 யூஸ் பண்ணி லைசன்ஸ் எடுத்தீங்க அப்படி சொல்கிறோம். ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கீங்களா? ஓகே லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கேன். எந்த காருக்கு லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கீங்க? ஆல்டோ 800 லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கேன். இல்லை இன்னோவாக்கு லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கீங்களான்னு கேட்டார். இல்லை சார். ஏன் இன்னோவாக்கு லைசன்ஸ் வாங்கல? ஜைலோக்கு லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கீங்களா? அம்பாசிடர் காருக்கு லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருக்கீங்களா? அட்லீஸ்ட் நீங்கள் 10 லைசன்ஸ் வச்சுருந்தா தானே 10 கார் ஓட்ட முடியும். என்னப்பா ஒரு லைசன்ஸ் வாங்கி வச்சுருக்க அப்படி கேட்டார். சார் இல்லை சார், என்ன சார் எல்லா காருமே எப்படின்னா ரைட்டு திருப்பினா எப்படின்னா எல்லாமே ஏபிசி ஆக்சிலேட்டர் பிரேக் கிளச்சுன்னு தானே சார் சொல்கிறாங்க. மோரலஸ் ஒரு கார் பழகிட்டாலே எல்லா காரும் பழகிக்கலாம். கொஞ்சம் அப் டு சம் எக்ஸ்டென்ட் மற்ற கார் லக்ஸுரி கம்ஃபர்ட்னஸ் அண்ட் கன்வீனியன்ஸ்க்காக தான் ஹையர் எண்ட் கார் போகிறோம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்கிறேன். தட்ஸ் ஆல். Understanding only one microcontroller is more than enough. We can learn several thousand microcontrollers in the future. Please teach only one microcontroller 100% clearly, as like how a driving school driver teaches you how to drive a car, one car comfortably. With your intelligence, you can drive your any car just with the help of your intelligence அப்படி சொன்னார். அப்போ ஒரு காரை நல்லபடியாக ஓட்டி லைசன்ஸ் வாங்கி கொடுத்தா போதும், மற்ற கார் அவங்க வசதிக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி அவங்க கார் வாங்கி அவங்க கார் ஓட்டிக்குவாங்க. அதே மாதிரி ஒரு மைக்ரோ கண்ட்ரோலர் நல்லபடியாக சொல்லி கொடுத்துரு தம்பி, அவங்கவுங்களுக்கு என்ன தேவையோ அவங்கவுங்க போகிற கம்பெனிக்கு அவங்களுக்கு தகுந்த மைக்ரோ கண்ட்ரோலரில் அடாப்ட் பண்ணி அவங்க படிச்சுக்குவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லப்பட்டது. அதில் ரொம்ப எளிமையான ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்டபுளான மைக்ரோ கண்ட்ரோலருங்கிறது 80 மைக்ரோ கண்ட்ரோலர். அதனால அதை ரொம்ப கவனமாக ரொம்ப தீவிரமாக படிக்கிறோம். அதுக்காக அசம்பிளி லாங்குவேஜ் அண்ட் மெஷின் லாங்குவேஜ். ஸோ இதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம 16 பிட்லாம் அசம்பிளி லாங்குவேஜில் படிக்கவே முடியாது. 32 பிட்ல நம்ம பார்க்க கூட முடியாது. ஏன்னா இப்போ டேட்டா ஷீட் எல்லாம் மினிமம் 4000 பேஜ் இருக்கும். There is no human being in the world can understand all the assembly language programming of 16-bit and 32-bit microcontroller. That is why we have chosen only 8-bit microcontroller, and we can celebrate as best as possible, and we can understand the complete microcontroller, and with that understanding, with that knowledge, we can do wonders with 16-bit, 32-bit and 64-bit microcontrollers and microprocessors in the near future. இதுதான் moral of the story. ரொம்ப கவனமாக ரொம்ப செலிப்ரேட் பண்ண முடியும் எல்லாமே. ஒன்லி திங் இஸ் வி நீட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இன் என்வரன்மெண்ட். திருப்பி அதான் சொல்கிறேன், அட் ரெசனன்ஸ் ஒன்லி வில் கெட் மோர் கெயின் பிகாஸ் யூ ஆர் ரெசனேட்டிங் வித் மீ அண்ட் ஐ எம் ரெசனேட்டிங் வித் யூ. We are celebrating our music class much beautifully. Every day we are celebrating a lot. I am also very happy, you are also very happy. Along with the syllabus, beyond the syllabus, we are celebrating a lot. This is happening just because of the question and answers that what you are asking, not because of what I have prepared. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. When you ask questions, then only a lot of wonders will happen in the classroom. Okay, I believe you understand the significance of question and answer sessions. And please don't hesitate to ask questions. If you ask questions, then only a lot more learnings will happen. That is the moral of today's discussion.